Alright, a little deeper into the cave. There's two rocks that aren't holes, but there's rocks that are supposed to be here and that aren't. Your hands are technically floating on the rocks. And there's another one here. You see the shadows of the rock being cast, but the rock is not visibly there. In the corner opposed to it, there's something similar going on with a rock feeling here, but not being seen. Basically an invisible wall that shouldn't be there, or the rock is missing texture. If you move over here, the wall disappears. So you can see through the entire map when I don't think you're supposed to, behind the crystal. It's very jarring as there's a wall that just appears in front of you. Behind the crystal, there's another gap you can just sit in. It's not that deep, but it's still a gap nonetheless. Behind the crystal once again, there is a gap to the left here. Up. Bounce a little too hard. Where you can get fully out of bounds out of the map. And just run away. This one is a little bit more obscure. But once again, behind the crystal, there's one over there. There's another one over here that's really hard to get through. But it's a gap nonetheless. You have to wiggle a little bit. Oh.
It's not a gap, it's a hole.
You have to wiggle around here. There's an exact spot you have to get through. That is really hard to find. But there's a gap behind there as well. That leads out of the map. And yet another gap. This time I'm starting on the outside. Above the kiosk. Bap. You go through. Back up here, you can fly through it and get out of the map again. Next to the kiosk in the underskirt. Alright. At the end of the slide, you can go in here. And it looks like... Oh, and you can get out of the map. Cool. The same thing can be done on the other side, almost. Then, back here, you have this hole that also leads out of bounds and out of the map. With sweat there. And then above it, you can go up here and have another out of bounds spot and a little resting spot to do so. So yeah, another 3 gaps to be shown that are directly at the entrance. And then in the same area, you have this tiny hole you can fit under, with above here a missing texture underneath the slide where you can go into and be out of bounds once more. Above the slide is another hole that is on the entrance side. And then on the rocks up here, there's another gap that allows you to sit pretty far back into the map. Almost entirely out of line of sight. It doesn't go out of bounds, but it's still a gap. Back at the entrance to parkour, or the underskates, there is a missing texture at the rear. And there's a gap at the top where there's no texture. Actually, the entire Vim here doesn't have a rear texture and is missing areas which you can get into it. That doesn't fully attach, and there's a gap in between all of it, except on this side, but like on the rear side, it's open and gapped. Next to the Master Gym entrance, there's another gap over here where if you go into it, you fall out of bounds. Alright, this spot is a absolute mess, as there's yet another gap that leads out of the map and then proceeds to lead out of bounds.